What's going on, Jerome's? So, free agent quarterback Kirk Cousins. It's weird to say, but he's made his mark here with the Minnesota Fighting Vikings, notably with head coach Kevin O'Connell. They made some sweet, sweet music, some sweet, sweet offense, and after Kirk's Achilles injury, kind of showed that the Vikings and Kevin O'Connell and Kirk Cousins were better together, and they've hitched their wagons to each other a couple times in various off seasons, but now. Kirk, he was a lame duck coming in. He played out his contract. The Vikings cannot franchise tag him. His contract does void, and absent an extension, he is going to be hitting the open market and free agency. And, of course, you get into go to the Steelers. Go to the Falcons with Bill Belichick if he gets that job. Or go back to Washington. Now, Washington actually could be palatable since it's a different ownership, different GM, different president, different coaches, and all that stuff. And also, so Magic Johnson is all about Showtime, part owner of Washington, and nothing screams Showtime like Kirk Cousins. That's all, man. Also, you'd be kind of insane. Like, I feel like we have our finger on the pulse of the DMV area. I feel like a couple Washington fans will be okay if Kirk returned, although they do have the number 2 overall pick, so they could take like Drake May or Daniels or something, whatever. But the whole thing about it is, since Kirk's going to be a free agent, every single offseason and every single season, the talk is like, oh, Kirk to the Niners, oh, Kirk to Kyle Shanahan, Kirk and all that stuff. Now, the 49ers probably should have just signed Kirk Cousins in open free agency in 2018. Came down to the Vikings and the Jets. Vikings and the Jets, sparking the dumbest rivalry in sports history because Kirk turned out more money from the Jets to go to the Vikings. But remember, during the 2017 season, the Niners and their GM, Jumpin' John Lynch, Kwesi's mentor, traded for Jimmy Garoppolo, which, I don't know. And again, if Kirk Cousins had been on that Niners team that went to the Super Bowl, they win because Kirk 100% hits Emmanuel Sanders on that skinny post route, which Jimmy G messed up, but it is what it is. But long story longer, could the Niners finally be in on Kirk Cousins as a free agent? Because Brock Purdy. Now, Brock Purdy, Cinderella story, Iowa State, he was garbage. He was not garbage, pedestrian. There was a reason why he was Mr. Irrelevant last pick in the 7th round in his class, but he got his opportunity. Jimmy G gets hurt. Trey Lance gets hurt. He comes in and efficiently runs the offense. And yes, the knock on him is all of it is dink and dunk. Oh, it's so easy to run the offense and be the quarterback when you're handing the ball off to McCaffrey or dunking the ball off to McCaffrey, or Ayuk is bailing you out, or George Kittle makes a big gain over the middle, or Debo taking a little screen pass and going 80 yards to the house, right? It's really easy to play quarterback. And the whole talk about Brock Purdy being MVP, ludicrous, absolutely insane, and it was backed up by, San Francisco kind of struggling in that game where they did beat the Packers, but a lot of it was more about McCaffrey. A lot more of it was about the defense stepping up in timely fashion. Now Purdy is going to get credit for the game-winning drive, but I don't know. But he was pretty average. 23 of 39 for 252, a touchdown, a 61.9 quarterback rating, QBR out of 186.7 quarterback rating. It was not good. Now, weather was a factor in it. The Packers defense was actually playing rather well, but he's not the guy, right? And the story that sort of came out, this is like a LOL, duh, obviously, situation where if Tom Brady had decided to unretire and join the Niners, his childhood team, he grew up in the Bay Area, rooting for Joe Montana and company, and that would have been super spicy. I'm not gonna lie, man, because the Niners, one of the best defenses in the league, have all those weapons, have a decent offensive line, spearheaded by Trent Williams. So Brady could have cooked in that spot, man. But all the talks that, hey, Purdy coming back off of his UCL injury and surgery would have been the backup. And it would have reverted to being a second-year, 7th-round pick quarterback behind Tom frickin' Brady. Now, I think it shows that even though they clearly have faith in Brock Purdy, and Purdy can operate the offense, Purdy, I hate that pun, but Shanahan and company, Lynch and company, could be looking to upgrade, and could it finally be Kirko Timo with the San Francisco 49ers? Who knows, man? But cap-wise, I mean, they would be having to extend Kirk Cousins a fresh contract, and that could be an issue. Right now, they're projected to have just over $1.3 million in cap space. But if you look at their existing contracts, there's a number of them that they could rework. You look at Trent, you look at Debo, you look at Armstead, you look at Werner, you look at Kittle. So if they really want to make it work for one big-time ride the lightning spot to try and go for a Super Bowl and get Kirk Cousins, it would make sense. Now, if this did happen, first off, what they would do is what they would have done with Brady is they have Brock Purdy as the backup quarterback, and they have him under contract on his rookie deal, and I don't think that he would go anywhere. I think that he would still be on the roster. I don't see them trading him unless they got premium compensation, and I feel like with Purdy, he's not going to get. You're not going to get like a first or second round pick for Brock Purdy in all likelihood, because I think people know is that, hey, you're winning games with Brock Purdy. Sometimes in spite of, as evidenced by that Packers game, but you're not winning because of Brock Purdy. Now, he could develop into that guy, sure, but are you willing to bet that right now and just build your future franchise around him? Like, if you put Brock Purdy on the Panthers right now, do you think he's succeeding? Nah. But if the Niners are able to pull this thing off, make it work cap-wise, the Vikings would get a 2025 third-round comp pick, because even though Kirk's contract does void, he does count it to the compensatory pick formula, just like how Dalvin was released. But Patrick Peterson had a void year, but he still counted into the formula. Doesn't matter. But it would definitely speed up the timetable of trying to find the successor. Now, it's probably not going to be Jaren Hall, but you never know. But what it could mean is that the Vikings would then have the impetus to make a move and find a groove to potentially trade all the way up for the quarterback of the future, or make sure they get their guy in the first round, and maybe sign a bridge quarterback. Hell, maybe bring in Russell Wilson for the league minimum. I don't know, man. But, hey, if San Francisco wins the Super Bowl, fantastic. I think Brock Purdy is your guy. I think he kind of has to be. But if they come up short, and if Brock Purdy is sort of whatever, and he's to blame, or if you slightly win the Super Bowl in spite of him, could this happen? It's possible. It's possible, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. Kirk Cousins to the Niners, ? Finally, it happens. It's like Margot and Sergey, except they never got together. If you get that reference, I love you. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol, production value.